You'll hear the term index a lot of times applied to a relational database, and that's why I want to cover the idea of a relational database index. Really, it's for completeness. We're not working in relational databases in this course, but I want you to understand why that word index applies very well to relational databases, as well as to keywords and metadata and even full text like we've talked about earlier. In a relational database, you have rows and columns. And every row is a record. Every row is kind of like what we've been calling an item. It's an item of information. And every column, we have rows and columns. Every row is an item of information, and every column is what we've been calling an element. It's one of the attributes, one of the qualities of the item. So we might have a table that is a table of white papers, let's say. And in that table of white papers, column 1 has the title of the white paper, column 2 has the date the white paper was created, column 3 has the body of all the information in the white paper, like the text of the white paper, and then the following columns have the authors and last edited and all those other kinds of things. So if we have, say, 10, 20, 30,000 white papers in that table, and we want to quickly get to those white papers by some quality that they have, for example, by their author, or by the title, or by the date they were added, or something like that, we can put what's called an index on one of those fields. So rows are items, columns are elements, but columns are also called fields, and we can put an index on the field. Now, what does that mean? I hope that actually, after studying indexes for a while, that you could pretty much guess what that would mean, even though you may not have heard about it before. Specifically, what it means is, suppose we want to have an index on the author. All the authors of the white papers, we want to index them by author, and we want to be able to find a white paper by author very quickly, either presenting that in the user interface, or I give you the name of an author and you see if we have a white paper by that author. Either way. So I take all of the names that are in the author fields and I shake them out of the database, right? Just like I shook the words out of items for a full text index. I shake them out of the database, I organize them alphabetically, I put them off over here to the side, so I have all my list of authors over here, and next to every author I have the IDs, or the more actually the location inside the database, the direct location where each of the white papers by that particular author is stored. So if I said I have an author index of white papers, you'd pretty much know, I have an alphabetical list of authors, I click on an author, I get all the white papers that that author created. Same thing is going on in a relational database, except there's no clicking involved. The database, when you say I want to index by author, the database extracts all the names of the authors, alphabetizes them, and then links them back to the records in the database that are responsive to that author's name. So that's the sense in which it's an index. It does all the things that an index does. It's an alphabetical list. It points back to the items that refer to that term. It has a set of terms. In this case, the set of terms is the names of the authors, or we could do it by the dates, or we could do an alphabetical title index, whatever we choose to do. And the database, the relational database, is taking care of the mechanics of extracting all the names, putting them off to the side, and linking them back. Now, generally, the reason we do that is because we want to quickly get to a white paper by author or by date or by title or something like that. And rather than searching record by record through the database, trying to find all the records that happen to have that author's name, and maybe not finding one until the very last record, by alphabetizing them, we can easily get to the place where that author's name would be if it was in there. And if it is, we'll find the author's name. And if it isn't, we'll know very quickly that it isn't in there. And so, generally speaking, the relational database index is a effectiveness tool that allows you to quickly get to items that are referred to by the thing that's indexed. So to review, relational databases have indexes. Those indexes are generally ways of making it more efficient to get to the records that are in the relational database. You set an index on a field, on a column of the relational database, and the relational database software takes care of extracting all the values of that field, alphabetizing them, and then linking them directly back to the record so that you can quickly get to that. And so you can take advantage of those indexes to present user interfaces, drop-down boxes that have all the items in the index in them, for example. Or you can take advantage of that in a query against the database to specify, say, the author name or the date, and very quickly get to all the records that have that author name or that date. That's relational database indexes.